Hello, all my wonderful fans, and welcome to my review of The Amazing Spider-Man, issues 14 and 15. We begin with the cover, which is a pretty good cover with the rhino smashing through a window, surprising Spider-Man who's having a cup of coffee. I don't really know. I don't really care. I wish he was doing more than just sitting there. But the artwork is pretty good, kind of cartoonish. But I do wish it were the artwork inside was as good as the cover. The first page, do we get a good first page? No, we get a synopsis for the first page. There's nothing but words and writing. And the actual first page, we have Arcade going to start playing a game. But what does happen as he sits down to start playing his little video game with apparently the X-Men? They're not actually in this issue. This is all we get of them on this page. We have him sitting down, and we have him talking to himself, when suddenly something happens. Someone throws a big wooden stick through his monitor screen, and we have Arcade managing to rescue his hat with his walking stick. And he turns around, and who does he see but frickin' Kraven the Hunter! And Arcade is, pretty much sounding like me. He's not really scared of Kraven, but he's not really happy that he destroyed his stuff. He's happy that he might be able to sell something to him, though. And his hat apparently has made it through okay. And Kraven rescues his staff from the video monitor. And now we turn over to the lizard and his family, who he saved from dying by turning to lizard people as well. This artwork is good, but I really wish it was better. It was in the X-Men. I never really liked Wallace Pachero, if that's how you pronounce his name. I mean, it's good, but also not... I mean, look at this page right here with the lizard holding the frog. Is that supposed to be his head or a giant tumor? I mean, the artwork is good, but I really wish it were better. I mean, here he is having a dinner with his family and friends. And all I can see is this big fish head instead of the lizard. His son isn't all that happy for being turned into a lizard person and not being able to go back to school. But he doesn't want to. But the lizard doesn't want to send his son to school because he's worried that it's going to cause problems. So they have an argument. I see the points of both the father and the son. I can see the pain. And here he transforms back, proving he can turn back into his human form. And we have one of the worst pictures currently I've heard about, and I agree. Peter Parker should not look so girly. Is he trying to become Mary Jane? Because he looks more like her than Peter Parker. Aunt May is at a dinner. She's with a friend of hers that after her latest boyfriend has died. Now, once again, we have Peter Parker reminiscing on his past growing up with Uncle Ben and Aunt May, hoping to be with her in her twilight years. Recently, she had been dating J. Jonah Jameson's father. Right now, we have his lawyer talking about how they are now both broke, and he apparently gets a bit fresh with her. And does Aunt May really enjoy that? Not really. She slaps him with some wine and storms out on him, saying that he should basically grow up. And what we have next is we have her using one of Peter Parker's image inducers to scare off a bunch of people who are harassing a homeless man. And the artwork here is a bit better, and I am enjoying it. It seems like whenever Wallace Pachero does any human faces, he's not really doing all that great. His backgrounds and monsters are pretty great. And here we have Aunt May trying to give solace to the homeless person who she had just saved. And she decides to take him back in there and have the lawyer who had been trying to hit on her pay for a hot meal for the homeless guy. Well, we'll find out who this homeless guy really is in a moment. But that's when suddenly the rhino comes bashing in with Peter Parker and Mary Jane talking about what is happening. And they see a news report of the games master. of both the Taskmaster and Black Ant trying to catch the rhino. And with Aunt May in the background with the homeless person beside her trying not to be noticed, when Spider-Man comes swinging in and webs them both up into the ceiling. And he notices his aunt is there. And he wonders why. That's when the rhino manages to dig himself up and come back in. And he's surprised that Spider-Man is there, and they're basically temporarily allies, apparently. Talking about what's happened. When then suddenly both the Taskmaster and Black Ant free themselves, with Taskmaster saying that he's watched Spider-Man's tape, and the artwork is good, but not great. I mean, this is more cartoonish. I just wish they had a really better artist than Wallace Pachero. I mean, his stuff is good, but I've never really enjoyed it. I mean, the fight with Black Ant and Rhino looks more like something out of just a Garfield cartoon. And with the Black Ant deciding that enough is enough and to shoot the rhino, but unfortunately the shot goes wide and it looks like it's going to hit Aunt May, but no, it hits the structure itself, bringing the restaurant itself down upon all their heads. Is anyone going to survive? Well, we're going to have to check out the next issue. The cover of the Amazing Spider-Man 15 is basically just a variant with Spider-Man being a Skrull while eating cereal or those slugs. At least with this cover, Waltz Pachero is both doing the cover and the interior art for this issue. So at least this isn't a lie. If you see the art on the cover, you know what the interior art is going to be. If you like the Waltz Pachero, man. And right now, this variant cover, as you can see, is a complete lie. If you buy this, you think you're getting great artwork. I mean, this cover by Axl Ross is great, but it's not anything but a lie, because this is anything you're going to get with the interior art. But you can enjoy this cover, but as you can see, it's basically cartoon time with, once again, the lizard's son, who has snuck a cell phone into his room and now is going to talk with a friend. Apparently the friend has told his other friends that he knows a lizard boy, but they don't really believe he exists. And his father comes in because he wants to talk to him. And he tells his father to go away because he hates being a lizard person. I see the kid's point. He even says there's even a school for mutants, and he can't even go there because his father says he won't even let him go there because it's not a school. He's not a mutant, so he won't go there. And I can see his point. The lizard doesn't know what to do with his son. And then we turn over to where Spider-Man's digging through the rubble that the Black Ant had just made of the restaurant that Aunt May had been going to. And he's just digging and digging. Then the interior art here is particularly good on the background, but Spider-Man still doesn't look all that great. But I'm really enjoying the background here with all the cracks. Taskmaster tries to sneak up and kill Spider-Man, but Spider-Man headbutts him and starts thwacking him into the ground, saying not now, before throwing him out past the Black Ant. Yet another point off, because the artwork isn't all that clear with Spider-Man fighting the Taskmaster. And right here is the only real clear thing that we know, is that he lands beside the Rhino, and the Rhino declares vengeance upon Spider-Man as both of them are hauling him off, with Spider-Man finally digging down into a hole where all the refugees from the explosion the Black Ant had caused. And she says to go and save everyone else before her, but so he starts trying to dig a bigger hole for everyone to start walking their way out of there. So he starts lifting and pushing and tearing stuff away from the hole he had made to make it bigger and wider. Here we see the really good artwork as he starts tearing apart a wall to get down there, so he can make a ramp for everyone down there to walk out. And he starts lifting everything up and out, and everyone looks on and somewhat fearful of how strong this guy is, and whether or not they're going to get out of there alive. And as he does this, he just starts really tearing the floor, and finally he manages to make a ramp for everyone to walk out. But lo and behold, there are people still down there. One person, the lawyer, who May had gone there to date, is on the ground and he's hurt, or rather stunned. And the homeless guy who she helped decides to help her and him try to get out there before him. And Spider-Man manages to save both the lawyer and Aunt May, but the homeless guy is crushed beneath the wreckage as the place comes down upon him. And Aunt May is terrified, and Spider-Man goes back in there, and he realizes the homeless guy is actually Ned Leeds, a former friend of his who had been a guy who was framed by the Hobgoblin and had his life destroyed. And basically, this Ned Leeds is a clone of the original, and he says that Betty Bent, who he has been married and in love with, is going to be in trouble soon. He asks Spider-Man to save her. And all Spider-Man can do is hold him as he dies. And knowing that this is yet another life he has not had been able to save. Even if it had been a clone of the original Ned Leeds. And we have Aunt May, who goes back out to an area that we haven't seen in a while. Apparently, this had been a place that Aunt May had worked at, and she had been able to work at and help people. So she decides to try and get restarted. Here we have Aunt May working her best to reopen a place so she can help innocent people. And we have the lizard's son, who has made a promise to his friend to go see him. So he puts on his shirt and gets ready to try sneak out of his home in the sewer. And we have the rhino angry at Kraven the Hunter for catching him with both the taskmaster and the black ant, hauling him down in a giant gerbil ball. And we have Arcade trying to sell Kraven any other devices and technology he could use to hurt Spider-Man with. But no, all Kraven wants is a shield that was been used by the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers, so he can have a little kingdom with him and the other villains so they can go up against Spider-Man. And Arcade is okay with this, while Kraven looks on rather menacingly as he looks upon his kingdom, which is going to be Central Park. He's going to use that shield to trap him and the other criminals with Spider-Man so they can go up against him. And this is how the issue ends. And if you like, this has been a pretty good story, but the artwork isn't all that great, thanks to Wallace Pachero. And if you like this video, subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment down below. So bye.